Well, there's definitely a lot of Crimson in the crowd. There's no question about it. Only an hour drive from Bloomington up here to Indianapolis. And the lower bowl, the Craig DeVault club level where we are located at right now, filled with cream and crimson of all varieties. And even the upper deck is filled with Indiana fans as well. This is going to be kind of like what we saw with Penn State and the Palestra earlier this year. A neutral site game officially, but more so like an Indiana home game than it would be a neutral site game. Winner will take on the Big Ten regular season champions and the 5-loss Michigan State Spartans tomorrow. But one of these teams has to come out victorious here today. It's Biddle and Umar Ballo from center court. The ball is up, and Biddle wins the tip. It rolls out of bounds, and so officially the Hoosiers will have the ball to begin this game. And so Anthony Leal will inbound it, sideline out of bounds on the far sideline. In it comes to Trey Galloway, and we're underway from Indianapolis. Handoff near side to Luke Goody. Looking down to the post for Umar Ballo. He'll feed it to him left short corner. Back to the basket, guarded by Biddle. He'll put it on the floor, picks up his dribble, had it stripped away, and it was stolen by Jackson Shellstad. Oregon back the other direction. Shellstad gets to the elbow right side, throws it back to the top for Biddle. Entry pass down low, hook shot from Brandon Angel, no good. He got his own rebound, and the first second chance points of the day for Oregon. Now a full court press put on by the Ducks. It's 2-0 Oregon. Luke Goody breaks the press easily as he crosses half court. He'll hand it off to Trey Galloway at the Big Ten tournament logo. Bouncing it to the left side. Now he'll pick up his dribble. Throws a pass over for Ballo. Was picked off by Biddle. He gets into the front court, had it tapped away, and chases it back down. Throws it over to Shellstad. He'll drive left. The pull-up jump shot from the baseline is good. And a quick 4-0 start for Oregon.
Quickly, this IU crowd kind of quiets down a little bit after those first 2 buckets and the turnover.
Quick 4-0 start for the Ducks. Umar Ballo hands it off to Trey Galloway in between the circles. He'll throw it down low for a back-cutting Anthony Leal. Down low against Biddle. His left-hand layup's good.
Nice job by Leal to use his backside into Biddle.
Shellstad back the other way, 4-2. Indiana trailing by 2 early on, 18:38 and ticking here in the first half. With it on the left side is Barthélemy. Throws to the short corner left for Biddle. He had it stripped by Ballo. Ballo got his hands in there. Leal picks it up and now throws it ahead for Goody, who gets it right back to Anthony. In between the circles, now he'll dish it off to Ballo, right slot. He'll put it on the floor looking for a back-cutting Galloway. Now instead he'll throw it to the top for Mackenzie Mbako. He'll dribble right. Pull-up jumper from the right elbow was good, and Indiana has scored the last 4. Tied at 4, 2 minutes in here from Indianapolis.
Despite struggling from 3, Mbako is still pretty solid on those mid-range jump shots throughout Big Ten play.
Bamba throws it to the left side with Angel. Back up to the top for Bamba. Picked up by Umar Ballo off the switch. No, instead it's actually Mackenzie Mbako who'll get down to the right corner and throws it back to the top for Shellstad. Swings it over to the top of the key for Barthélemy with 5 on the shot clock. He'll drive right to the free throw line. Now down low on Ballo. Puts up a floater. Back rim. Can't bounce in. Ball's loose. He picks up his own rebound and saves it into Angel, who lost it out of bounds. And so Indiana gives up another offensive rebound, but fortunately for the Hoosiers, Angel couldn't handle the pass. And so the Hoosiers, again facing this full court press with 17:38 to go, are tied up at 4 and an opportunity to take their first lead of the game.
We talk about the press. This Oregon team is always, every year under Dana Altman, one of the most athletic teams in the country. So they're trying to use their length to disrupt Indiana in today's game.
Galloway weaving his way across half court, picked up by Keyshawn Barthélemy. Now he'll go right off an Anthony Leal screen. He'll curl his way through the elbow. Got down low, lost the ball, got it back, kicks it to the near side corner. A 3 from Mbako, and he hit it. 7 straight points for the Hoosiers. Mackenzie Mbako knocks down the 3. 7-4 Indiana. Shellstad back the other way. Top of the key 3, and he counters with one of his own.
Miscommunication on the screen between Leal and Goody. Leal thought it was a switch, so he didn't go over the screen. Shellstad was wide open because of it.
7-7 early on. Here's Trey Galloway at the top of the key. He'll step back for a 3, and he hits one. Galloway knocks down a 3. It's back-to-back triples for this Indiana offense.
Barthélemy went under the screen on this end, dared Galloway to shoot, and he did.
And an offensive foul as Shellstad hits the 3. It will not count. A moving screen was called on Oregon. I think it was Biddle. No, I think it was Angel who was called for the foul. So Brandon Angel picks up the foul. Anthony Leal was out there bumping his fist towards the Indiana bench. And this Indiana team, at least early on, looks like they came ready to play. 16:40, it's 10-7. Indiana on top of Oregon. Anthony Leal up top. It's a curling Galloway who will drive right through the elbow down low, flips it high off the glass. No follow there for a putback dunk, but he lost the handle. Picked up by Bamba into the front court. Kicks it back out to Biddle, right elbow. Back to the top for Bartholomew. Swings it to the left side for Shellstad. He'll drive right to the free throw line. Now will pull back and hits a tough step back jumper over Luke Goody.
Cruz, he's already hit 3 jump shots off the dribble today.
Back the other way comes Indiana in a hurry. Left block, Umar Ballo backing his way in on Biddle. Turns to his left shoulder. Jump hook was short. Leal taps a rebound up in the air, and it's picked up by Galloway. Kicks it to the right side. Goody, a triple. Can't get it to go. And the rebound picked up by Kwame Evans Jr., who just checked into the game. Transition 3, Bartholomew left it short, and Ballo there to secure it. Frantic opening pace. The next dead ball will take us to the under 16 media timeout. It's 10-9 Indiana. Anthony Leal to the top for Trey Galloway. He'll drive right, pulls up for 3, and in and out off the rim, no, and Biddle secures it. On the return trip, TJ Bamba driving left, down low on Mbako, tried to dump it off for Kwame Evans Jr., who was not ready for the pass. It goes out of bounds, and Indiana will take over after this break. It's 10-9 in the early going, 15-29 to be exact. Here in the opening half, the Hoosiers on top of Oregon by 1. You're listening to Indiana University basketball on 99.1 WIUX, your home for Hoosier sports. Indiana, of course, one of the best scoring and total yards teams in the country. They rank 2nd and 8th in both of those categories, respectively. Derek McCormick out to kick for the Hoosiers. As we have $1:17 to go here in the first, Michigan will get the football back, and they trail Indiana by 4 with the score of 7-3 here against the 8th-ranked Hoosiers. Jordan Marshall will be back to receive the kickoff. It's on its way, and it'll be fair caught down at the 11-yard line. And it wasn't Marshall who caught it, but nonetheless, the Wolverines will have the football at the 11. They started their last drive at the 13, marched all the way down the field as it was caught by Zach Marshall for Michigan. They marched from their own 13 all the way down to Indiana's 3 before a fumble moved the Wolverines back beyond the 20-yard line. They had to settle for a field goal. Now they'll have to march 89 yards to try to get back on top of Indiana.
Yeah, and, I think it's kind of tough for Michigan coming off that last drive. He held the ball for so long and only came away with 3 points. They're going to have that in the back of their heads.
Davis Warren back out there, 2 receivers as well as his tight end and the running back Donovan Edwards. Here's the snap. Fake handoff to Edwards. Warren rolling. He has to get rid of it. And the ball was deflected down. Mikhail Kamara coming in to bat that one away. And the Hoosiers defense stands strong once again.
And we said at the end of that last drive, Mikhail Kamara, we were going to have to call his name a little bit more. Reigning National Defensive Player of the Week, had multiple sacks last weekend in East Lansing. Those are the kinds of plays he needs to make. He needs to get into the backfield more for Indiana if they want to get pressure on Davis Warren.
Kalel Mullings now into the game for the Wolverines along with Donovan Edwards. 1 receiver out to each side with the 2 running backs. Here's the snap. Warren the handoff. Edwards running up the middle, bouncing off a couple of tackles, but doesn't get very far. Maybe forward for about 2 or 3 yards. Aiden Fisher in there on the stop for the Hoosiers. Here we go, Nick. 3rd down and 7 from their own 28 for Michigan. And the crowd getting into it once again.
This will be a huge momentum shift for Indiana. You go from almost going down 7-0. You go down, you score a touchdown. Now you can force a 3 and out and really put this game in the hands of your offense.
Donovan Edwards, the back. 2 receivers far out to the near sideline left. 1 out to the far side right. 36 seconds and counting. Wolverines trail 7-3 against Indiana. Here's the snap. Warren dropping back. Pressure coming. He has to get rid of it. Throws it to the near side. It was deflected away by Sean Asbury II. And the Hoosiers get a big stop on 3rd down. 4th down and 7 for the Wolverines with 28 seconds to go here in the first.
No surprise who Warren was looking for there. He wanted Colston Loveland. It was an outbreaking route towards the near sideline, pretty much right at the sticks. But Asbury read it the entire time. Got off Loveland, broke to the inside as Loveland went to the outside and dove, jumped the route. And that was great defense by Indiana. You force the 3 and out, you get the ball back, you'll have pretty good field position too.
Miles Price back to receive, his feet planted firmly on that 26-yard line. As the snap is back, the kick is up from Dolman. It's a nice kick too as it pushes Price back to the 15. That's where he'll field it. He'll try to return it. Runs out to the near side, tiptoeing his way along the sideline out to the 35. And a solid 20-yard return there for Miles Price with 18 seconds left in the first.
So you've got 70 yards to go now as we've got another injury from Michigan. That's their 2nd of the quarter. They had an offensive lineman go down earlier. This was one of their guys in kick coverage. Hard to see who it is right now.
Well, we saw Giovanni El Hadid, the starting right guard for Michigan, go out earlier this game. We still don't know his status. Now we're trying to figure out the ID on which Michigan player this might be. But again, this has been a Michigan team who has been plagued by injuries, especially considering that they are without their best quarterback and one of the top prospects in the NFL draft coming up this year, Will Johnson, missing, I believe, his 4th game of the season with turf toe. There's been a lot of speculation whether he's just going to shut it down for the season under his own terms or not, but the head coach, Sharon Moore for Michigan, saying that he is not shutting it down. He'll be back if he can. And we have an ID on this injured player.
It's
It looks to be Rod Moore.
I thought Rod Moore, if that's Rod Moore who's hurt, that is another huge loss for Michigan.
Well, the day has finally come. A day that perhaps nobody associated with Indiana football, maybe for the exception of one team behind the vision of one man, saw coming. Now, when Curt Cignetti took over the Indiana program nearly 13 months ago, the program was in shambles. Tom Allen was fired following up the historic 2020 season by going 9-27 over his last 3 years in Bloomington. There were 10 offensive starters in the transfer portal, along with half the defense, and morale surrounding the program was seemingly at an all-time low, which is a statement that carries significant weight for the losingest program in NCAA football history. Indiana's athletic director, Scott Dolson, and IU president Pam Witt knew that they had to go and get the right guy, and they found their guy, an emerging coach who had flipped the culture at multiple programs in the years prior. In the first month that Curt Cignetti took over the job, he brought in 31 scholarship transfers and completely flipped the entire roster. Now, fast forward to December 20th, 2024, they're standing in the shadow of Touchdown Jesus with an 11-1 record and a college football playoff patch stitched into their jerseys.
Well, Blake, thank you so much. Coach Vic will welcome you into the show now. I know it's hard to put into the words. It's so fresh already, but just give me your best description about what emotions are flooding through you right now that you guys are on your way to Indianapolis for the first time in program history.
You know, honestly, I thought, don't get me wrong, I am a little emotional, but it hasn't hit me yet. I figured I'd be bawling like a little baby, but it'll finally hit me whenever we get out of here. So
it's quite the scene. I mean, you know, again, to do something that has never been done in program history, your team is blazing a trail, and their run continues to Indianapolis next week. Every single person who I've talked to today, and this is the same thing I've told every single person who's asked me about the game, it's always something to talk about playing your best basketball when the postseason comes around, but this might be one of the most dramatic examples. Now, you guys have been playing good basketball all season long, but you guys have really kicked it into another gear, especially over the last 2 games today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, nothing against our team, but I felt like until today we had not played our best basketball in the postseason. Even in our sectional, I didn't think we played that, the greatest. Last weekend, clearly we did not play well, but we played well enough to win. But I thought we were pretty dominant, especially defensively. I mean, I don't know what they finished with, but for the first game to be only 26 points or whatever it was, and then, the number 11 ranked team in the state, we got a little sloppy in the fourth, but, when you're up 30, things happen.
If you could use one word to describe the kind of run that you and your team are on right now, I know it's going to be a difficult question, but one word to describe this kind of run that your team is on right now. Can you find one?
Well, I'm going to use a couple words. I think we're finally starting to grow up, and I don't mean that, I just feel like we're maturing as a team. We're not letting anything, get in front of us, or, when things don't go our way, like I said last weekend, a couple years ago, we would have wilted and pouted, and our body language would have been terrible. I feel like we're finally starting to grow up and understand that, things aren't going to go our way every time, and it's just, if we miss a shot, okay, do something defensively to make up for it.
Coach, we'll see you in Indianapolis next week. Go cut down some nets.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody. That was head coach Matt Vick, the head coach of the semi-state champion Borden Braves. They will head to Indianapolis for the first time in program history. They will face the